Hello friends, and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Escott, and if you haven't already, head over to AB Designs Co. for all your tumbler and glitter needs. Their glitters come in many colors, shapes, and glitter sizes for all your tumbler and crafting designs. Hey friends, and welcome back. Today we're going to be working with a full wrap. This design comes from AB Designs, and I'll make sure that the link is down for you in the description below. And we're just going to wrap this tumbler, and we kind of were just winging it. The end result was pretty amazing. I got a few feedbacks and you guys wanted to see how I created it. So we're going to start by wrapping the tumbler with a pre-cut design. All of AB Designs patterns come 12 by 12 sheets. Normally when I'm going to do a full tumbler wrap, I like to stay up off that bottom rim a little bit so that I don't have to trim it later. However, for this particular design, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap the whole thing and trim the bottom and the top once it's fully wrapped. I'm going to use the velvet side of my squeegee in order to help me wrap this to help prevent from air pockets and wrinkles. I also cut my pattern vinyl precisely so that it would wrap right around the tumbler and I would only have a tiny lip overlapping the other side so that I wouldn't have to trim the seam later. I'm just going to roll the vinyl over the bottom edge just to make it smoother for my cut. I'm going to use the cutting tool that I purchased off of Amazon, and I'll be sure to have that link for you down below as well. It's super adorable and it cuts very, very smoothly. For the top rim, I'm just going to use this sharp X-Acto blade to trim the rim. So now I'm going to go right in with Pop of Color from Color CCDIY. I want to mention that if you are not comfortable with this step and painting directly over this vinyl, I highly recommend that you epoxy this tumbler first. That way, if you do make a paint mistake or an error, you can easily take it off. But once you paint over this vinyl, it's going to be far greater of a risk that you're going to ruin the vinyl that's underneath the paint. Once I had all of my deep blue sections, I decided it needed a little something else, something more to give it a little additional depth. So then I decided that I would go in with the lighter blue of Pop of Color choice in order to enhance these darker blue sections. However, I wish I had added a little bit more than what I actually did, because at the final result, you could only see this in a couple of different sections. So that's a note to self. Now I'll know in the future just add a little bit more to where you can actually see it in more of the sections than my final result. I think that's the whole blessing in disguise when it comes to tumblers. I mean, you can make a mistake or you can figure out how you can make it better next time. So don't stress about this whatsoever. Just have fun with it. Once all of your sections are completed, allow this to completely dry before moving on to the next step. Once my paint was dry, I was then ready to go in with my full tumbler wrap with the foil. I'm going to be using the Tack It Over and Over as my application for the foil. We're going to go ahead and just spread that all over the tumbler, and then we're going to do a full wrap when the tacket has gone clear. When your tumbler is ready, you can go ahead and do the full wrap around the tumbler. We're going to use the velvet side of our squeegee to go ahead and press down and really get this to adhere. Once you're ready, you can go ahead and carefully pull back the foil to reveal the design. Such a fun and unique design and gives the tumbler so much incredible depth. Though I kind of didn't want as much as I got, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and take a little baby wipe right where the paint is from the Pop of Color, and I just slightly started rubbing it in the same spot repeatedly to kind of open up those sections a little bit. Just keep in mind when you're doing this that this tumbler has yet to be epoxied, so we do not want to use the baby wipe and rub too hard in those particular sections, as we don't want to risk ruining the vinyl underneath. So I continued to open up a few more spaces, and once I was completely happy with the overall look, it was then ready for its very first coat of epoxy. For my first coat of epoxy, I'm going to be using the Fast Set from Color CCDIY. Be sure to allow the epoxy to fully cure before moving on, and don't forget to use your heat torch to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see. So for my decals, I'm using BAMF Custom Creations Metallic Silver. So both the Hello Fall as well as the pumpkins can both be found in the Cricut design space under the Images tab. I absolutely want to mention that I love the BAMF custom vinyl. However, as you'll notice, my tumbler is super busy, so this did not pop off the way that I really wanted it to, which was fine because I went ahead and went back to Cricut Design Space and decided to do an offset on all of my decals to where that I could have that outline so that things would really show up. So I decided to outline everything in black. And that's it. Once you have all of your decals in place, you're ready for 1, maybe 2 coats of epoxy to seal in all of your decals. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and if so, please be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click all notifications so you'll be notified every time I launch a new video. And be sure to leave me a quick message down below in the comments to let me know what you thought about this tumbler tutorial. And until next time, thank you so much for watching.